A female sniper lies in ambush, waiting for a plane to land. The moment a man steps off, she fires a precise shot, then retrieves the spent shell casing, pondering her escape. Elsewhere, Levi, an elite sniper, wakes from a nightmare and drives into the night, spending hours by the sea, watching a happy couple walk their dog. Later, he receives a mysterious letter and heads to the Marine Corps base, where he meets Agent Bartolomeu. She knows his military history, 113 confirmed kills, a legacy family, and a private contractor career. Though he remains ready for service, a military psychologist deemed him unfit. Alone with no family or vices, Levi has chosen not to appeal. He sees no point in much of anything. Meanwhile, in a small Lithuanian village cemetery, an accordion plays Bach. The musician's daughter, Drasa, arrives, the sniper from before. It's Memorial Day for her mother, a tradition they share. Her father has heard about her latest contract, eliminating a Belarusian oligarch, a man with 4 children. She admits it was difficult, but her father reminds her that the oligarch had sold phosphorus bombs and anti-personnel mines. Who knows how many children he truly harmed? Drasa hands her father a shell casing, adding it to his collection of her kills, convinced she's on the right path. He asks her to stay, but she has orders. Moscow awaits. He disapproves. She's Lithuanian. She doesn't have to obey, but she's already decided. Her father, terminally ill, reveals his plan to end his suffering on Valentine's Day. He asks only this: wherever she is, light a candle, look at Orion, and say goodbye. Elsewhere, Levi embarks on another mission. His transport plane reaches a restricted zone, and he must trek 38 kilometers on foot. All gadgets and watches are confiscated. Instead, he's handed a sealed mission envelope. He parachutes into a dense forest, making his way to his post. A fully autonomous outpost, solar-powered and self-sustaining. His only company, a fellow soldier Jasper, is eager to leave after a year in isolation. Levi knows nothing about the mission, not even what country he's in. Jasper reveals the true nature of the post. Opposite the gorge stands an identical Eastern Bloc outpost. The slopes are heavily mined. Crossing is impossible. Their duty is simple: patrol, maintain the border, and ensure nothing from the gorge escapes. For 75 years, no one has discovered what's inside the gorge. Jasper shares the lore. Years ago, 3 battalions were sent in. Not one soldier returned. The military switched to containment. Soldiers before them spoke of hollow men, being seen in the shadows. The name comes from a T.S. Eliot poem. Jasper believes the gorge is a gate to hell. They are the gatekeepers. His replacement arrives, a helicopter appears, and Jasper eagerly boards. But as he's lifted, the pilot shoots him, sending his body plummeting into the gorge. Rotation complete. The pilot reports to Bartolomeu. A month passes. Levi keeps to his duties, checking defenses, weapons, and mines. His only contact with the outside world comes every 30 days. In his spare time, he reads, tends the garden, and notices quotes on the walls, left by past soldiers spanning decades. One night, he hears sawing. Looking through binoculars, he sees a woman on the eastern outpost, Drasa. Another month. Drasa celebrates her birthday alone, and out of boredom plays a prank. She fires a shot into the air, prompting Levi to look. She holds up a sign. "What's your name?" He warns her. Contact is forbidden. She doesn't care. It's her birthday. She writes her name and insists they have a drink in her honor. Levi laughs, writes his name, and agrees. That night, she plays music, urging him to dance. He refuses. She doesn't believe him. Levi challenges her to a shooting contest. He places his flask on the parapet. She shoots it off first. In retaliation, he ruins her wine bottle with a perfect shot. She places another bottle on her head, daring him, but suddenly loses balance, motioning him to look below. Through his scope, Levi sees movement. Something isn't right. Then the hollow men attack. The creatures resemble twisted trees shambling from the gorge's darkness. Levi opens fire. One steps on a mine, exploding into flames. But the rest keep coming. Drasa joins the fight, covering him. They shoot, reload, shoot again, fighting side by side. Just as Drasa steps back, a creature crawls over the ledge, reaching for her. It ignores her gunfire. Levi snipes it from across the gorge. But the attack isn't over. Mines detonate across the ravine, throwing Drasa aside. Levi covers her with machine gun fire, just as she did for him. Finally, the onslaught ends. They sit in silence, trying to catch their breath. Drasa tends to a wound she hadn't noticed. She writes, "Coolest birthday ever." A month later, a drone emerges from the gorge. Levi watches nervously as the automated turret reacts. But the drone flies away. Another month. Chess games, snowmen, drum battles with makeshift percussion. Then Valentine's Day. Drassa plays Bach, crying. Levi asks what's wrong. She tells him it's her father. That night, Levi reads a quote on the wall. Something clicks. The next morning, he fires a grenade across the gorge with a rope attached. Drassa laughs, finds the rope, and ties it down. She sees the note. Dinner? Levi ziplines across, but miscalculates. He slows down and hauls himself the last stretch. Drassa teases him. Wash up first. They share a meal. He offers flowers. As they talk, Drassa realizes who he is. His shot in Yemen. It was legendary. Levi shrugs it off. That night, she finally makes him dance. They grow closer. He admits he wrote her a poem, but refuses to share it. The next morning, Levi says goodbye and returns to his side. But as he nears the top, a mine detonates. The rope snaps. Levi plummets into the gorge. Drassa grabs a parachute and jumps after him. Darkness swallows them both. Drassa plunges into the fog-shrouded gorge, her parachute tangled in the wind. She barely manages to cut herself free from the lines, losing her gear in the process. She clings to a fallen tree, struggling to stay afloat in the raging river. Meanwhile, Levi hangs unconscious, suspended upside down in the massive branches of an ancient tree. Slowly, the branches come to life, shifting into a grotesque insect-like form, ready to consume him. He awakens just in time, firing a shot that shreds the creature's head apart. Drassa hears the gunfire and hurries toward the sound. Levi plummets from the tree, crashing into the twisted roots below. The ground itself starts to writhe, roots coiling around him, pulling him deeper into the earth's maw. About to consume him whole, Drassa arrives just in time, opening fire. The roots recoil, allowing Levi to break free. Catching his breath, he thanks her, but she knows he would have done the same. As they navigate the fog-drenched forest, a monstrous horse made of tangled roots charges toward them. A rider, half human, half plant, guides it with eerie precision. Levi and Drassa fire at the horse, but it keeps coming, its mutated muscles absorbing the impact. The rider leaps from the saddle, attacking Drassa with inhuman speed. Levi grapples the creature, fighting it off, while Drassa takes on the horse, dodging its relentless stomps and kicks. After a grueling battle, they barely defeat the monstrous pair. Levi studies the remains and finds fragments of a uniform, post-war 1940s military attire. These must be the lost cavalrymen. Realizing they can't climb out of the gorge, Drassa suggests following the river in hopes of finding an exit. As they move, they stumble upon ruined structures, partially collapsed from old seismic activity. One building resembles a church. Inside, wooden pews remain intact, occupied by skeletal remains. Levi sniffs the air and recognizes the faint scent of cyanide. They poison themselves, he mutters, realizing what happened. Drassa urges them to leave immediately, but before they can, enormous spiders drop from the ceiling. They fire desperately, blasting their way out. As they sprint toward the exit, the mummified corpses on the pews begin to move. Drassa fires a grenade launcher, blowing a hole in the church wall. As flames engulf the nightmare, they flee into the open. The monsters pursue them relentlessly. Drassa makes a call. Stick close to the gorge wall, where at least nothing can attack from behind. They find an entrance to an old hangar, barricading themselves inside. Within, they discover an abandoned underground base, complete with chemical labs and sealed rooms. Among the dust-covered shelves, Levi finds a film reel and a still-functioning projector. They watch as a scientist on-screen details a top-secret wartime project, a coalition of Eastern and Western nations working on biochemical warfare. While Oppenheimer developed nuclear weapons, this lab worked on something even deadlier. Then a massive earthquake struck, collapsing the entire gorge, releasing chemical contamination that fused human DNA with plant life. The result, a monstrous hybrid species. On the film, the scientist lifts her sleeve, revealing her own horrifying mutations. She pleads for forgiveness, hoping God will have mercy on them. The film ends. Drassa notices a sealed ampule on a nearby table, likely containing an experimental antidote. As they move deeper into the base, they discover a modern facility, far newer than the original lab. This means someone continued experiments here, even recently. Levi finds a functioning computer and sees a logo on the screen. Dark-like. His stomach drops. They weren't working for a government. They were working for a private company. Dark-like is behind this. They steal classified data, learning about Dark-like's drones, which collect hybrid specimens worldwide. Drassa realizes this corporation is breeding super soldiers, ensuring their secret remains buried. Then Levi finds something worse. A program labeled Stray Dog, the final failsafe. It's a thermal bomb designed to incinerate the entire gorge if containment fails, but the earthquake damaged it. Drassa and Levi look at each other. They won't make it out. Still, Levi tells her it was worth it. They prepare to leave, but Drassa realizes she left their ammo bag near the entrance. They have no choice but to go back. They toss a smoke grenade for cover and dash for the bag. Just as Drassa grabs it, a massive root lashes out, snatching her leg and dragging her away at high speed. Levi fires after her, but she vanishes into the darkness. A root rider has taken her. Drassa struggles, slashing at the vine-like appendage, but she's slammed into something hard and loses consciousness. Levi follows her trail, leading to a ruined missile silo. Inside, Drassa wakes up, suspended by vines as a hollow man looms over her, studying her like prey. She breaks up free and fights viciously, but the creature is too strong. Just as it's about to overpower her, Levi arrives, saving her once again. He inspects the hollow man's remains and recognizes something horrifying. It was once a soldier, one of their predecessors, the same man who named these creatures Hollow Men. Deeper in the facility, they find decayed missiles and a mass of mutated humans fused with plant life, a grotesque web-like nightmare. One of the creatures grabs Drassa, and Levi fights desperately to free her. They shoot their way out, burning the infestation behind them. Finally, they discover a still functional jeep, its winch powerful enough to pull them up the gorge wall. Drassa fends off attackers, while Levi anchors the winch cable to the cliff. As they ascend, hollow men claw at them, nearly dragging them back down. Levi punctures the gas tank, soaking the creatures in fuel, then sets them ablaze. The burning jeep crashes into the abyss, taking the monsters with it. Levi and Drassa cut the rope and collapse at the top of the gorge. They made it out. Back at Drassa's tower, they take a moment to compose themselves, realizing they're infected, or at least they might be. If symptoms show in 5 days, there's only one choice: go back down. Levi radios his superiors, reporting that everything is normal. Meanwhile, Dark-Like's drones detect unusual activity from the eastern outpost. Bartolomeo watches Levi on a secret video feed. She knows everything: his journey into the gorge, his alliance with Drassa, and their survival. She issues a kill order. A helicopter is dispatched to eliminate them both. The next morning, Levi and Drassa begin their usual patrol, when suddenly a helicopter appears over the trees. They hide in the forest, but drones quickly locate them. Levi and Drassa break into a sprint, trying to get beyond the kill zone. But the drones open fire, wounding Levi. Drassa takes them down with precise shots, but more are coming. They run for their lives, pushing through exhaustion. Then Levi stops. He knows what they have to do. They trigger a massive explosion, exposing the gorge to spy satellites. The Stray Dog Protocol activates. The entire area is set to be incinerated. Bartolomeo tries to flee, but Levi and Drassa open fire, destroying the Dark-like headquarters in a chain reaction of explosions. The blast wave knocks Levi off the cliff. Drassa screams his name as he vanishes into the river below. She waits for 6 days in a nearby cave, but he never returns. Finally, she leaves. Months pass. Drassa settles in France, working at a small cafe. One day, she finally opens Levi's last letter. Inside is the poem he wrote for her. She reads it slowly, tears streaming down her face. Then, one ordinary day, as she sets down a coffee cup for a customer, she sees him, Levi, sitting at a table, watching her. Drassa doesn't rush to him. She simply walks over and asks softly, "Why were you gone so long?" Levi smiles slightly and admits he was badly injured. "But now," he says, "I'm ready to work in your kitchen." She laughs, overcome with emotion. Then he kisses her.